Trolling for walleyes is one of the most productive methods for putting a lot of fish in the boat. However, there are things you can do to make your trolling more effective. Here's former PWT Angler of the Year, Ted Takasaki.
Well, with precision structure trolling, the whole key to following the shoreline and working your baits, as the shoreline actually descends into the water, what we're doing is we're placing higher baits closer to shore and then staggering them a little bit deeper as we get away from the shoreline. When you're trolling inline planer boards, you want to make sure that once you have the boards out, what you want here is your outside board rod to be a little higher, okay? With the inside board a little bit lower. What happens then is that as you make turns and swings, that outside board will stay clear of the inside board. I like to lift up the big motor and get that big motor out of the water while I'm using my kicker. That means I can make real quick adjustments as I'm trolling around these points and following the contour while keeping the boat in a certain depth. And that'll allow your baits to run along the shoreline, and you're going to catch a lot more fish that way.
Many of our top walleye waters allow you to fish with multiple lines. This gives you the opportunity to run baits at a variety of depths when trolling. By following the contours of the bottom with the different baits, you can determine where the active fish are, as well as what bait they are more receptive to that day. Once the depth and preferred bait are found, you can fine-tune your trolling spread to appeal to the most active fish.
What I'm going to do here is actually I'm going to run some shallow baits on the inside towards the shore and then deeper crankbaits as I get away from the shore. So what I do is use line counter reels so I can keep track of how much line is behind the board itself, and then I tie that to a little snap swivel, a ball bearing snap swivel, in case I get a fish and it starts twirling. That ball bearing snap swivel will keep all the line twist out. Okay, I've got that Shad Rap back about 50 feet, and then I've clipped my inline planer board to the line itself with little snaps just like that. Now I lay the board right into the water, make sure it's running right, and then I put the clicker on. What that allows it to do, it pulls a little bit, and then it's pulling the bait away from the boat. I can now set that in the rod holder, and it'll play out while I can work on setting out the next lure. The last crankbait that I'm setting out is a Storm Thunderstick. It's a big Storm Thunderstick Senior, and I'm going to put it out about 110 feet, and that's going to place it at about 22. So you can see I've got one bait at a 9.5, one at 15, another one around 16, and then my outside lure I'm running at 28, 22, and I'm going to try to keep the boat between 25 to 30 foot of water. And you can see, and as we get closer to the shoreline, it gets shallower. So we're running those baits fairly close to the bottom, although these fish are going to come up, and they'll actually come up and hit them. You're always better to err on a high side rather than have crankbaits that dive below them, because the walleyes often will come up for a bait, but they won't go down for a crankbait. Just came off that point. Crankbait was digging into the bottom just a little bit, and that's usually when you'll get those strikes. It's got some weight to this fish. Let's hope we can get this one in. Oh yeah! Woohoo, man! Oh boy! I'm going to now switch and have two number 9 at 80 feet back, and that's what you need to do in order to become successful, is to make sure that you can sense a pattern and then make quick adjustments and adjust. And let's see if this will work, if we can catch a couple more fish with that same pattern. Okay, that board just went back, that inside board, right after we duplicated that pattern. Number 9 Shad Rap, 80 feet back. Take that board off. Maintain pressure. Oh, feels like another good fish. Come on, baby. Come on, girl. I tell you what, when you get into these fish, precision structure trolling, and replicate the pattern, you can just keep catching fish after fish. Just keep going back over the same spot. Whoa. See, you just took that dive right by the boat. Whoa, yeah. Another nice one. Another nice fish. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Woo, man. Look at that. Oh, that's a chunker. All right. Yeah. Precision structure trolling. It really works.